I'm here today to talk to you guys about life and business and all of the ups and downs through it. And I want you to know that you're not alone. So for me, I think everybody has a pillar in their lives that keep whatever they're doing, whether it being in the audience today, starting a business, a podcast, taking a break from something, deciding that something's not worth it. And I think that those pillars play a very focal point in making what we're doing today worthwhile. And for me, that's my 13-year-old dog, Herb. So from the time I was 17, I dropped out of school, and I shouldn't have done that, but we all have a journey. And Herb taught me so much in these 13 years. You know, through every decision that I make, he is a prominent factor in why I'm doing what I'm doing. From where I live, when and if I travel, the career that I do, really, he really does play a day-to-day part of my life in every decision that I make. And I'm sure you guys in the audience have, whether it be your children, your jobs, your friends, your family, you have these pillars in your life. So the thing that I'm facing right now is that I'm crippled by the fear of losing him, because he's been the constant in my life that keeps me going. He's what I live for, right? He's why I have the job I have, why I travel, why I don't. So what does the future look like without him? Because as much as I like to keep going, I love to keep busy, I love to be active in my community, he's my everyday. So I find myself questioning this in my business life and in my personal life, and it's been really, really, really scary. So what I found is that life and business can be absolutely wonderful and amazing, but it can also feel extremely trivial and confusing. Hands up, who's felt that on a daily basis? Maybe weekly, maybe monthly, maybe right now. And I think what is really happening is that through all of these moments and experiences, through all the ups and downs in our lives, these things are happening at such breakneck speeds that it's causing a culture of stress and uncertainty. We never know what to do next, if we're doing enough, if we deserve taking a bath with some candles, like we've heard some of the other speakers reflect to self-care. It is extremely important. For me, at this point in my life, I just want to slow down. To be quite honest with you, everything is so fast all the time, from the way we consume content, the way we're learning new languages, from meeting new people. I've realized finally, turning 30 this year, that I can't control everything. And that was a little bit of a scary notion for me, because as a control freak, I didn't understand that. And I didn't realize that there are things that will be thrown at you that you cannot proactively navigate your way through. And it's not always going to be comfortable and easy. But that's why I'm here today. Okay? To just keep going. This is what life is. So through it all, through all of these successes and triumphs, and through the tragedies, like I said, that are happening some days on the very same day, I want you to know that it is important to keep going, okay? And when we think about the bigger picture of things in our life, okay, we sometimes say that life is short, but I think it can be long. It's how we kind of bring in those moments to our lives that actually give us a moment to think about what we're doing. And for me, Herb's getting older, work is only getting busier. As you've heard, I've got a number of things that I do just here in the community. And I just find, although my life is fulfilling, it's passing by extremely fast. My dad once told me that, Cait, you might be 16 now, but you'll be 21 before you think about it, and then 30, and then 40. And I thought, yeah, but there'll be lots of time in between there. Stop wishing my life away. But he was right. Those days do become a lot shorter, and your time for self-care, your friends and family, become back burner things of your life. And I get caught sometimes not having a moment to even think about the day. I just think about, what fire do I have to put out next? What piece of content should I be writing? Who can I be helping? It's always what's next, what's next? And I'll be honest, it's exhausting, and things do inevitably get missed. There's always somebody or something I could be giving my time to in a more quality manner. Who's felt that in their day-to-day jobs? You know, you go and you do your very best, and sometimes you feel like you didn't even do the bare minimum. But to me, this is both life and business, okay? Our output mentally, physically, and even just emotionally is compromised. We can't be 100% all the time, and I don't think it's healthy to be. You know, I think that when we're thinking about what does our future look like, we really have to think about embracing our day-to-day, okay? They're not always going to be up here. They're not always going to be down here. They might kind of have a flow to them. For me, I think we self-sabotage these moments by thinking so much all the time. Who's an overthinker here? I certainly am. I'm thinking while doing this talk. So I think we self-sabotage sometimes because we're always wondering. You know, the highs and lows of life, I'm going to be honest, and I'm sure you already know this, you cannot control, okay? There's not one single entity in this world that you can full and 100% wholeheartedly control, okay? And that's okay. But what you have to get kind of to the understanding of is knowing that you have to live life at your own pace, and that if you could experience these moments a little bit, whether it's being super busy at work, having to run to get the kids places, dealing with your ill dog, whatever those things are, if you can be just in that moment for a little bit longer, those moments are going to shape your lives, okay? And this has been hard in marketing and advertising and social media and influencer marketing. It has been exhausting because the question I deal with all the time is what's next? What can we write next? What photos can we do? How do we tell more captivating stories to help others? And although it's been extremely rewarding, I'm always either on a very high or really low. I never know if what I'm doing is good enough. Anybody feel that way sometimes? So my real example today is that back in March when I went and did this TED Talk, it was one of the most meaningful things I'd ever wanted in my life, and it still is. But over the past 6 months, I decided to go to therapy, and that really changed my outlook on this talk today. And the reason being is I originally wanted to just come talk to you about life and business and marketing, but I was going to leave out all the reality of that and life. And I thought that would really do an injustice to all of you here and myself for wanting to put this talk on. Because to me, even the greatest things that we can get in our lives, they're never attained in a comfortable manner, usually. They're not usually easy. And I found myself, even about this talk, asking, why did I get myself into this? And I also found myself asking, how did I not want this more, right? And as a business and podcasting with your friends, with your family, sometimes you think, how am I gonna get through this? How is it feeling this intense in this moment? And sometimes a few minutes can go by and we're okay. And sometimes it takes weeks for us to get out of bed. But that doesn't change what our ethic is. That doesn't change who we are. It's a moment, and we should be conscientious of owning that. So if I could remind you of anything today, regardless of what you're doing in your life, be ambitious about it. I'm not saying you have to go do a million things to be ambitious about your life, but be ambitious about your ideas of what you want in your life, because that is a game changer. That's something I found in therapy in the past 6 months, is do more of what you love. And if you say, Cait, what does that even mean? Well, an example of that would be if you're someone who likes to write, but you don't write anymore because you're not a writer or a poet, get to writing again. Paint, go out and do things. Just because you're not a photographer doesn't mean you shouldn't be out taking pictures and doing things in life. That's what gives us our individuality. So in that, in learning kind of who we are, how we're comfortable in our jobs, our lives, in the community, we can't always steer our own vessels, right? And we can't always know every proactive hurdle or decision that's going to be made with us, for us, or even without our knowledge, okay? But that's okay. And I think if we take ownership of everything that's happening in that moment, good or bad, I think we'll come out at least feeling proud of the legacy we've made when we're ending life. And I look back at the past 10 years of my career, and guys, it has not been easy. It has been grueling. It has been amazing, and it has been disheartening, and I've wondered, what am I doing this for? And how could I not be doing more of this? I need a whole team of people to help me do more of what I'm doing today. And I just want to share a few things with you, real common observances that I've kind of noticed and talked with people over the past 10 years, and really, that there's always going to be 3 factors. Okay? So whether you're starting a new education, coming to a new city in the world for the first time, having a child, making a family, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, there are going to be elements that you're not going to know. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, go to every life coach, and be so prepared that there will be elements that you won't know, okay? You're gonna have to try regardless and really, really push through those, I would say, things that are in your way, but also opportunities that you need to embrace so that you can actually just keep it real regardless of the outcome. So maybe it was that job that you knew that you were suited for, that you nailed the interview on, that you feel you deserve and that your skill set is the golden goose for this company, but you don't get the job. Do you get mad at the company? Maybe. But I think if you keep it real throughout it, you'll realize that part of your life story is actually that happening. And that's been my experience over the past 10 years. I've worked incredibly hard at everything I've done, and it seems sometimes that failure is what I'll be successful at. But as I look through and as I prepared for this talk, mentors are who shape our lives, okay? So my podcast partner, my other mentors in life, the people I work with, my friends, my family, the people in my relationships, all play a focal point in why I'm up here today. They play a focal point in the next 10 years of my life because those people, they might have started out as acquaintances, became friends, and now are my family. They're the people that I have their backs when they need me. And regardless of what's happening in my life, whether I'm laid off or whether something really awful happens with my family or my herb, anything like that, I know the community will have my back. And to me, I really found that out when I started understanding what startup life was here in New Brunswick. And as we've heard today, St. John in New Brunswick is an incredible place and an incredible ecosystem that people really, really, really work to elevate one another. And for me, at 20, 10 years ago, I was fresh out of school with hefty loans, and all I wanted to do was work. And there's this thing called experience that you need, right? And that's the common, you never have enough experience, but it's like, I'm here and I'm trying. But you gotta keep it real throughout that and just keep going, right? So I ended up working for a large corporation for about 4 years, and I thought I was gonna get the gold watch and be there for 30 years in my life. That's just what it would be, and I was okay with that. But I got laid off. Didn't know that was coming. Does that happen to anybody? Right? And as I started going through this, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't have any savings. Oh my goodness, my livelihood. Herb. I didn't look for any prospects. What am I going to do? My community had my back. And I'll tell you, sometimes when these hurdles are happening, you wonder, I can't go back and do that, or somebody's going to see that on Instagram and I'm going to look like an idiot. That's okay. That you should do that. I would actually encourage that. You are the only person who makes the narrative of your story. Other people have ways of putting narratives in there for you, but you are the one responsible for that. And by meeting Monica and Brent and Greg and all the folks during this time, I was able to work with some of the best people in North America in robotics, engineering, manufacturing. I was able to travel again. I got confidence. I was terrified. And I'll tell you, those people believed in me when I didn't, and I needed them to, and I had no idea at the time. And through all of that, through getting up on stage in front of hundreds of investors and asking them for money, that brought change. Because that company was acquired, and I didn't see it coming. I'd worked so hard to show the success of the company, to put out our value proposition, and our plan was right there, and I wasn't out looking for new prospects. What was I going to do, right? But I'll tell you, the community had my back, okay? All of those people I worked with, the people I worked with in the community, all the relationships with all the media, people I had worked with got me to the next step. That's where I'm at today. That's why I've been able to start a business. That's why I've been able to start a podcast. If it was not for my mentors, I would not be up here today, okay? And I want you just to think real quick in the back of your head while I'm speaking, somebody that's impacting or has impacted your life, okay? The impact that your support system brings to you, and especially the one here in St. John, is second to none. I've traveled all over North America at this point, and I can tell you that we are very unique here. We have a very unique and very, very, very important ecosystem here. And it's important, that each person that's coming here today really puts that back out into the St. John community, because we are creating something really incredible here. And for me, Elevating others is my strong suit. That's what I like to do. I like to tell other people's stories. I like to get real with them, and I like them to know exactly what their message is so that they can do more of that, okay? Now, you can't always navigate or know every decision. We know this, right? Hurdles will be thrown. But if we can know that nobody has it figured out, regardless if it's the Gary V's of the world or Oprah or whoever it is, it's okay. Not everybody has every part of their lives completely navigated out. But I'll tell you that standing still is not enough. Like me, you have to just keep moving, okay? And it's like I said, it's not always gonna be easy, but ideas are extremely impactful, okay? And when they're communicated to people, they're not only just communicated, they're then actioned, created, and put into a process for people to adopt and then make change. So although I may not be able to change the world, maybe my ideas today could help change my own and maybe help navigate yours a bit easier. And at the end of this, I really didn't know if I could do this talk today. But I remembered those three things of not knowing. I didn't know how this was gonna end up. I didn't know if the lights would be too hot. I'm trying, and I'm gonna keep it real with all of you throughout the talk, okay? That was my mandate here today. I want you to know that you make a huge difference, okay? In your own life, if you don't feel it right now, it's okay. But you do make a difference, and you make a difference in the lives of others. You make a difference in this community and in other businesses, okay? The people that you do day-to-day business with, even though you might think it's your mundane day, you create impact for them, okay? I want you to remind yourselves that during the best and the worst times of your lives, because they'll be there. And like I said, sometimes during the same day. And I want you to know that you're not alone. Thank you.